Good evening, chosen family. I hope you all are having an amazing day filled with favor and love. Really quickly, I just wanted to share with y'all this message that the Most High pressed upon my spirit, and my hope is that it reaches someone and helps heal a part of someone today. I'm reading my notes because, like I was saying in my other videos, y'all, I don't like to miss anything that God tells me, so I try to write it down really fast and just keep it in my notebook. And so I wanted to start off by saying, even as chaos and conflict arises, the Most High's plan for his people still moves forward. This is just prophecy unfolding, and we know that he still warns, covers, and protects us as we travel this narrow path to Zion. So, I wanted to ask y'all something today on a real note. So, who is it that you feel that you need to be to perform, and what flaws or insecurities do you tend to try to hide from other people and the Most High? Did it ever occur to you that maybe, just maybe, performance or perfection is not the way to God's heart, but maybe truth is? And did it ever occur to you that pleasing man doesn't earn you any bonus points with God, or even in the kingdom of heaven, or on Judgment Day? We may try to cover up our shortcomings, flaws, and our insecurities by performing, overachieving, or even looking for validation in others. But doing that will never make room for real healing and real growth. And better yet, it won't even allow God to prune the imposture behavior and mindset from us. The precise reason we are even called to renew our minds daily with His Word is because we are called to think and perceive ourselves as God views us and conduct ourselves through His teachings so we don't end up falling into the trap of becoming like the world, living and thinking that we have to be a certain way to fit in and be accepted. When He called us to stand out, each in our own godly, heavenly fashioned ways, we try to be all nice, neat, and tucked away around our friends, family, church, coworkers, and everyone else. But God knows and sees through all of that. He sees you, and I mean the real you. He knows it gets messy, and He knows you fear judgment. I can honestly say, speaking for myself, I do fear judgment, and was just telling God the other day that it feels like I'm in bondage to a fear of being judged because I know I'm weird and I know I'm quirky, but I feel the need to be someone that looks and seems put together to be accepted at times. And I'm still insecure in a few places, and yet I still put on the imposture from time to time with God, knowing that that's not who I am. Praying for new wine to be poured into old wineskins daily and not being spiritually or physically conscious of the fact that we're presenting ourselves to God as someone we may not even be deep down on the inside of us. Even having heart to heart conversations with God, but not addressing the elephant in the room regarding our real hard issues. God knows who we are. As a matter of fact, Jeremiah chapter 1 verse 5 says, He knew us before we were even born. So He definitely knows us better than anyone, even ourselves. He wants our transparency, not our poor acting skills. He wants our surrender and not our resistance to Him changing those hurting, unhealed parts of us that we try to hide. God wants to transform us into who He had always ordained us to be before we took on what and who the world told us we were, or what we thought the world thought of us. Just as Jacob had to tell the angel of God his name to come to a moment of truth of who he really was as being the deceiver, God now had the opportunity to prune that identity away from him and call him Israel, the man he was always destined to be. Not only did Jacob receive a new identity, but he also received the favor he was wrestling and warring for. Jacob had to be transformed into the man that could steward, carry, and maintain the promise he received. What if that's the same thing God is doing in us? What if He's asking us to come clean about who we really are, about what we really struggle with, and maybe where we're even at spiritually? What I'm learning is we can't expect God to hand us everything we desire and ask for on a silver platter right away when there's still some stripping away in us that needs to happen. What if we may not be Jacob the deceiver, but maybe the insecure, the greedy, the self centered, self righteous, the impatient, or the spiritually weak one? And God wants to take us through some wrestling ourselves. What if he's saying that thing or those things you've been praying for is on the other side of your surrender and your transformation, of this imposture you portray yourself as? And just what if the version that God has called you to become, to steward the promise, is on the other side of your transparency, your willingness to be who He created and called you to be, and above all the noise, the fears of judgment, or whatever else may hold you in bondage? In your prayer time next time, we should begin to ask God not just for the promise to come to pass, but the version of us that can hold it to spring forth and to be bold and confident in this next season that He has for us. No more lies of self doubt, just pure scriptures on what God speaks over our lives.